Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today. It's Monday morning. It is now March 14th, 2022. I'm the man they call Meathead, and joining me this morning is the lovely Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda. How was was it a non-wrestling weekend? Was that what this was, or did you get some in this weekend?
It was an MMA weekend for me
Okay.
as my Muay Thai coach had a fight, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. So I went on a little trip, not quite as far into the Ohio Valley this past weekend, but it was a non-wrestling event weekend, but I still had some action in front of me, mixed martial arts this time. But
Fair enough.
we know we have wrestling coming up this week for us again here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
I was going to say, yeah, you're going to get on a board, right, with the wrestling for this Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Anybody in the Cedarburg, Wisconsin area, anybody familiar with GLCW's home venue, if you will, at Circle B? We've got the Godfather, who will be our special guest for GLCW All Aboard. Now, Meathead, we've got some of the flyers, posted a lot on social media, but it is an action or stacked card, excuse me. We're an action-packed night. We have, our great GLCW champions. We've got a ton of OVW stars there, and you've got me there to help keep the show going, moving along on the microphone. So it will be a great time. And, to everybody, as always, for, Dave Hero, always promoting blizzardbrawl.com, where you can always find tickets and more info. And tickets start at just $10. There's so much talent on the card. Yeah.
I like $10. Yeah, there's always some OVW talent there. There's always some GLCW talent there. Some of the local guys there as well. So it's always a nice show. Hey, we kind of skipped over it. We didn't talk about our sponsor. Who takes care of us?
That would be Collar and Elbow. And as always, I see a lot of Collar and Elbow t-shirts at every GLCW show I'm at. So if you want to be sporting that, whether you can make it this Saturday at Circle B or not, hopefully you can. And hopefully you'll be wearing some Collar and Elbow. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com, and to save 10% off your order, use promo code LindaK. That's LINDAKAY.
Fair enough. All right. I know we started off on a high note. We got to take it down a notch because we've got two big kind of stories from over the weekend that are just not good ones. Well, let's start with the Scott Hall stuff, and then we'll work our way over to Big E. So Scott Hall, a couple weeks ago, had fallen, really hurt himself, really hurt his hip, and had to go in for surgery. It was not emergency surgery. It didn't happen that second, but due to complications from his surgery, Scott Hall is on life support right now. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, big Scott Hall, the bad guy, had a triple heart attack Saturday night. And we are all, I mean, it's kind of hitting us kind of hard. We have friends that are personal, close friends of Scott Hall's, and we love Scott Hall from all the years of entertainment that he gave us. So Scott Hall hanging on. In the wrestling world, we're always asking that, when something like this happens, come on, Scott, kick out. You always do, buddy. So Scott Hall on life support right now.
Yeah, it was very saddened to hear that. And as you just mentioned, we love Scott Hall here with PWR. We've got friends.
GLCW alum.
Mm-hmm. Very close to him as well. So, I mean, that is heartbreaking to hear. Hopefully this is something, as you said, he can kick out of. And we're all thinking of you, Scott, and, hope for the best in the recovery.
I got the honor to call a Kevin Nash, Scott Hall versus Road Dogg Jesse James and Billy Gunn match with GLCW. Probably one of the coolest things I've done in wrestling. I haven't done a lot of stuff, right? But one of the coolest things I got to do is I got to call the main event of a GLCW Too Sweet show. And man, I don't know what – I mean, I know we're kind of processing it right now, and we really hope that Scott makes it out. But I don't know how we're going to deal with that if Scott doesn't make this. So let's go up a notch. And a very scary situation seems to have some positive light on it. From Smackdown, and we'll make our way into Smackdown in just a moment, but we got to talk about the big story coming out of Smackdown Friday night. Big E broke his neck in a what looked like, I think it was a belly to belly or belly to back suplex.
I believe it was to be a belly to belly, but I mean it was outside.
But it was out on the floor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Either didn't get him up high enough, he didn't get enough rotation, didn't tuck, whatever. I saw it not live, but on my first viewing before I saw the news, and I flinched at home. Linda, I know that you said you saw it as well, and they literally, Michael Cole on the announce table said, "We've got paramedics attending to Big E right now out on ringside." They did not show what was going on since. The good news, like I said, there is some light here. Big E posted a video in a neck brace. Says, "I'm okay. I'm gonna make it. I should recover." Broken necks are no joke. I mean, Austin, Kurt Angle, all these guys. It's oh man, big everybody. You know how we're all asking Scott Hall to kick out. Everybody around the world, wrestling wise, fan and worker alike, waiting to hear when Big E is recovered and ready to get back at it.
Right. I heard about the news before I actually saw the clip. And when I did watch SmackDown, I knew when it was going to happen, and I prepared myself to see it. And yeah, it was a not a pleasant sight to see. I mean, and right off the bat, and I was just like, man. And then I know they didn't pan back to Biggie, obviously outside, but right after that happened, you just see him laid out there still. I'm like, oh, but thankfully, as I already saw the clip that he posted on Twitter of him talking and saying he'll be all right. That was just great to not just, it was not just something reported and written out. It was him speaking directly to the world saying he'll be all right. It's great to see him in, I mean, I don't say good spirit, in decent spirits given the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and he even made a joke, if you're going to break your neck, make sure it's in Birmingham. So at least,
Yeah, if you're going to break your neck, be in Birmingham, Alabama. The legendary Dr. James Andrews and his staff out there they're world renowned as far as sports injuries.
Right. So I'm just glad to see, I love Biggie, and everybody just talks so highly of him. So I'm glad he was able to, the next day just put something out there just to kind of help put everybody's minds at ease. But I guess right now we really just don't know the severity of it and how long he would be out. And yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I just thinking about it, I was getting choked up a little bit. I'm choked up obviously for Scott. We kind of put those back to back there. Big E, before you heard from Big E directly from Twitter and the video that he posted, you're just holding a heavy heart thinking about that stuff. And when he talks, you're like, oh, it's a long road, okay? But at least they hear him talk, to hear him speak, they see him in the spirits that he's in. He's probably holding on a brave face. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, but if anybody could do it, it's definitely Biggie.
Right.
All right, let us move on to SmackDown and kind of segue in. The show starts off with Farmer Brock, and Farmer Brock was not smiling when he came out to the ring. Farmer Brock had a pissed off look on his face. And as he's calling out Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman comes out instead. Paul Heyman lets us know that Roman Reigns is not in the building. And the first thing I thought actually got answered by Brock. Paul, if Roman's not here, who's going to protect you? Because we saw the footage of Paul setting up Brock at Madison Square Garden, and then Roman Reigns, basically busting him open. Brock showed the scar over his eye, on the outside of his eye there.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Lesnar chased Paul Heyman through the entire building. That was actually fun to watch.
Right. I didn't realize how fast Brock Lesnar can move. I
didn't realize how fast Paul Heyman could move.
That too, yeah. Well, yeah, him just going in back. I will say on a side note, the security there in Birmingham, remember my friends that I mentioned, or my former colleagues, the Tate twins, that one of them got put through that table by Edge?
Yes.
They were part of the security there again. I saw immediately. Nice. They got pummeled through by Brock. But they did their job. It was long enough at least to help Paul Heyman. It was long enough to keep Brock at bay before he could reach Paul Heyman, who left in that vehicle. But this is great to see a more vicious, more angry Brock Lesnar.
We love the ha-ha Brock we've gotten, but we need a little bit more seriousness.
Yes. And with what happened at Madison Square Garden, seeing how heated Brock was, you can feel that he had some shoot heat, if you will. And like you said, if you're going to be the first one to draw blood on Brock Lesnar,
that's right.
Come in. And I really wasn't sure if Roman would later appear, but I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but he really was not there, at least not on TV for
Right.
SmackDown. So that's
That's why Paul moved as fast as he moved.
Yeah. I mean, he's always got the Usos part too, maybe.
Sure,
but he
Brock's
was
gonna
on his
pull
own.
through the Usos, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little outside of kayfabe, I guess. I'm reading the recap from WWE, and it doesn't sit right with me. The way they've told us how the business is real and these are real people. This is the recap from WWE. Sheamus and Rich Holland defeat Biggie and Kofi. Although Sheamus and Rich Holland destroyed the powerhouse of Positivity's ATV 1 week ago, Biggie and Kofi Kingston were ultimately denied retribution after Holland laid out Biggie outside the ring. The fearsome Butch, a recent tough addition as Sheamus and Holland's company, climbed up on the apron and distracted Kofi. He laid him out. There's no announcement on the website at all that Big E had a serious injury. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I suppose that could have just been glazed over in that recap, just
right. Who wrote that?
One.
Right. I mean, laid out. That I understand. Maybe I'm taking it personally, but it just doesn't feel right. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, there was a serious injury that happened that did contribute to the match. I mean, but whether the finish was the way it was meant to be or not,
Sure.
we really don't know. So,
well, this recap was written after the match, so it's not like.
Okay. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm just nitpicking here, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Let's move on.
Wait, can I?
Oh, go ahead. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
So, you know how I recapped NXT with you last week and how I have mentioned how the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne was my favorite.
You know what?
NXT.
Because of the bad writing, I forgot about Pete. Go ahead.
Butch. Now he's Butch.
Butch. I'm sorry. And that, you know what? On Friday before Biggie's serious injury, that was going to be what I led with on this Monday morning program. Ladies and gentlemen, Butch. What the Butch?
Okay,
but I mean, obviously the Biggie and Scott Hall stuff took over. I forgot about Butch.
Well, here's what I take from this. So I am saddened that
Butch.
he's no longer the Bruiserweight, and just his persona, just who he was. They mentioned how he's a master or something with limbs and his submissions and whatnot, but no mention of the NXT. And I get sometimes they bring them up, they change their character.
Right. He just lost his lineage is what he did.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I didn't think it was over. Wait, wasn't there supposed to be? Oh, wait. I thought there was going to be a cage match for the North American title at Stand Deliver, but maybe Pete Dunne wasn't mentioned in that.
Not with Butch. Not with Butch.
There was just something so much more between Pete Dunne and Carmelo Hayes. To me, I thought there's definitely something more with that, and just Pete Dunne as a whole. Like, I loved who he was on NXT, and
I'm glad you brought it back because, like I said, I forgot.
Yeah,
Butch.
well, I feel like this threesome with Sheamus, leading Ridge Holland and now Butch. I feel like it was. I mean, I don't know how long Xavier was out with his injury. Unfortunately, obviously, Big E is going to be out for a while now.
Xavier just wrestled the house match or house show this weekend.
Okay, that was my assumption, is that it was going to be, I don't know, whatever Sheamus's faction is going to be called now, but that versus New Day, it could have been something leading up to Mania, or just something in the coming weeks. But obviously that won't be the case now. But that was my assumption, if Biggie didn't get injured. But hey, I'm still, maybe he can be back at Pete Dunne and be in that cage match for the
Butch.
North American Championship.
Butch.
I just am like, it could have still brought him up as Pete Dunne. He would have fit directly with.
I know,
their duo, because he's European. He's got the accent, and he's a bruiser, a fighter, just like them. And instead, he's
character-wise, without calling him by name or without cutting his hair or changing his hair, he fits. Mm-hmm. But his name's Pete Dunne, not Butch. Good God!
Talk how hard Sheamus, is a fighter. Ridge he's got the strength, or vice versa, whatever they were saying, and you got Butch. So
Butch is the joint manipulator. Yeah.
I think he could have still fit with what I'm assuming they were going for, just as Pete Dunne as a Bruiserweight. Sorry, in my opinion. But I still am a fan, but I just thought it just told from what we've learned to grow and love about him, and his new attire is just, It fits
Right.
with the Sheamus thing, but okay, I digress. That's all.
So, and I'm going to go on more. Again, like I said, I apologize, folks. The Scott Hall and Biggie stuff threw me off. Butch was what was going to lead my disgust of SmackDown, but other stuff came up. If you continually push NXT and a Raw superstar as the NXT champion, you have to assume all your viewers watch NXT. You brought this guy from NXT to SmackDown, and now we're supposed to forget his name's Pete Dunne? Come on, man. It'd be one thing if NXT was still the WWE.com show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You're Dolph Ziggler, Raw superstar, is the NXT champion. So you commingle the stuff, and now you bring up a guy we're supposed to forget about. Who's in charge? That's all I want to know. Let's move on now. I love Charlotte's jacket. And I love the interaction between her and Ronda. I have a problem with Ronda doesn't speak up enough. Ronda needs to learn that she's addressing 20,000 people. It can be turned up. We can turn our TVs up, but Ronda needs to learn on the microphone. She's talking to 20,000. She sounds like she's talking to a room of 15. Linda, I've heard you project. I don't think Ronda projects.
Well, I mean, she just came back. I don't think she's ever gone too loud in her promos, but I know what you mean. When she first started talking, I think the crowd was still cheering coming back from commercial, and she got right into it. I mean, maybe it's just her showing that she's more about just kicking ass versus
it's a
being
TV
the
show though.
One on the mic. I know, and she's going against Charlotte, who is a master on the mic.
Charlotte is now a master. She wasn't when she started. I can clearly remember a Raw after a WrestleMania where the crowd ate her alive and they had to go to commercial and come back to her for a reset. Charlotte is now a master. She's amazing. She is really, the reps have really paid off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I did like their confrontation.
I loved it.
I was thinking to myself, like, they really want to kick each other's ass. Like, what's holding them back? Like, normally, if it's like a contract signing, you got a table, you got a moderator, you got security, but there was no one. So I was like, why aren't they going at one another? We later find out they will get their hands on one another. So I get it now. But I liked it. I liked the confrontation that they had. I like how they justified and try to rebut what they've said to one another. And
no, I liked it, except for her not projecting. Other than that, I thought it was great. Sasha Banks and Naomi, of course, defeated another women's tag team, Natalya and Shayna Baszler, because they're going to get a title shot at WrestleMania, even though they've only been a tag team for 3 matches. So they're going to build them up, and they're going to look strong. And you know what? This was a great match. I really thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. And I think putting Naomi and Sasha as a team together
makes sense. It's kind of a month away from WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, hey, they had Carmella and Queen Zelina at ringside as well. They kind of throw some more stuff in the mix, but if this is going to be unless it turns into a fatal 4-way women's tag match for the tag titles, I think it's good to still have Carmella and Zelina, in the mix on both shows, because we've got competitors from both shows.
So throughout the years of guitars, be it Honky Tonk, Jeff Jarrett, Elias, have you ever seen a flying V broke over somebody's back?
No. Well, recently, isn't it?
I mean, up until Friday.
Right.
That looked weird to me. I mean, because, the acoustic guitars that everybody's had always were hollow, and they just, they were gimmicks, so they explode. A flying V, that looked like he got hit with a chunk of wood. This is what it looked like.
That's what I thought, too. I was like, oh.
Boogs defeats Jey Uso, though. And he earned Shinsuke and himself a tag team title match at WrestleMania.
That was the stipulation. I should have thought that was where they were going last week on SmackDown when the Usos attacked Shinsuke and Boogs. But hey, I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now on SmackDown, what other strong tag teams? And I'm not sure of any much more.
No, I'm okay with Shinsuke and Boogs.
No,
Shinsuke
I like
and Boogs are good. Yeah,
I do like them. So that makes sense. And the Usos added or started the feud, I should say, in last week, and now it's coming to fruition, and they got their chance. Clean win.
Pat McAfee brawled with Austin Theory ringside during the Ricochet and Sami Zayn title match.
Yeah. That was that was interesting. I liked it. I think it's definitely something to keep the excitement going, leading up to their match at Mania. I'm surprised they did it during a match and a title match of that, but it was something different. It's showing just how much Austin Theory wants to go at it right away with Pat McAfee coming in to interrupt.
And McAfee jumped over the announce table.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that match only because I want to see McAfee do more work. That's really what I want to see. Ricochet defeats Sami Zayn to retain the IC belt, and Charlotte puts a really painful-looking submission on Ronda Rousey on top of a Cadillac.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that coming in, and
that brawl was good at the end too.
Yes, I was expecting maybe another kick through the window or some windows, something smashing. But hey, we got a slam, and then as you mentioned, the submission holds a nice close up on Ronda's face. That was good. And then Charlotte, I wasn't sure if the outfit was interesting. It was definitely different from what she wore at ringside, but that stood out to me as well as their brawl and back. And that was a nice way to kind of see what I was getting at before. I'm like, why weren't they attacking each other? But it happened later.
You know what? I like it. And the feud, I've got both. So, I mean, I'll score some points at the PWR Fantasy Draft. I've got an outside chance of taking Matthew, but it looks like it might be the Team Team Nelson Mandela. Isn't that it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. He was Team Matt Damien last year. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
This year is Nelson Mandela. Let's talk Rampage from Friday night. They had 4 big matches. It was Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez, Darby Allin and Mark Quinn, QT Marshall and Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland in his debut taking on Tony Nese. Plus, we also heard from Scorpio Sky, the new TNT champion. Now, Darby Allin and Sting took on Private Party's Mark Quinn. At the end, the boys of Hardy, because remember, we can't call them the Hardy Boys. WWE owns that. So they're either the Hardys or the Hardy Brothers. But they showed up at the end. Darby Allin with the win over Mark Quinn.
Right. I believe on the debut on Dynamite, I believe Excalibur did say the Hardy Brothers at one point. So, yeah. It's interesting to see Darby Allin still a bit unsure of the assistance of the Hardy Brothers. But I can see this being a future 8-man tag match against Matt Hardy's former associates.
Linda, I didn't get the chance to ask you, how hard did you pop when Jeff came out to the real Hardy Brothers music?
I stood up and was thrusting my hips as well.
There you go. And you heard us explain it, right? Why they were able to keep that music.
Yes. And with I forgot the artist, but AEW got the licensing for it, and boom.
Boom, done. Make it happen. I thought it was public domain music because I heard it everywhere. But no, it's just a band that says, if you want the music, pay me a couple bucks and here you go.
Right.
Absolutely fantastic. All right. America's Top Team, Dan Lambert backstage with the new TNT champion Scorpio Sky and All Ego Ethan Page. And remember, they've got Wardlow waiting for them on Wednesday night.
Yeah. And they didn't mention both belts, so now it is back.
Yeah, quote unquote, Ethan Page. And don't let the one belt fool you guys. On Wednesday night, Sky's going to be defending 2 titles, the TNT title and his streak.
Okay.
Down the 1 belt. Thank you. Let's move on. Because there was no need for 2 belts. They didn't mean anything. So, no, I'm absolutely happy with that. Jamie Hayter taking on Mercedes Martinez. Jamie Hayter had Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel at ringside. Jamie Hayter with the victory.
Yeah, and she had some assistance. I don't think she necessarily was asking for it. So there's still that
little, yeah, exactly.
Something will make Jamie Hayter snap from within that group. Something soon, but for now, there's still a strong trio. And
Thunder Rosa coming out at the end, not waiting for the steel cage match. I've told Matthew, and we had talked about it for about a week or so. Once Thunder Rosa did not win at the pay-per-view, said she's getting another match, and I guarantee it's that cage match. And I cannot wait till Thunder Rosa wins the women's championship off of Britt Baker at this Wednesday's Dynamite.
Yes, the St. Patrick's. Oh, what is it? St. Patrick
Brawl, maybe? I don't know.
Something. Yeah. I know you guys mentioned that, and I definitely see this happening now and adding another element in the cage. This is another time for Thunder Rosa to shine, and she's got that momentum. Let's get the title on her.
Limitless.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait. I guess. Well, I have Britt Baker. However, this would not be a title change.
It's only on TV. No, that's not a pay-per-view.
Okay.
So you wouldn't lose any points. You're not going to gain any points either, but you're not going to lose anything.
Yes.
Limitless Keith Lee took on QT Marshall, along with the Factories Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado. There was no way. There was no way that Keith Lee was losing this match. However, after they tried to attack him after the match, here comes Starks and Hobbs, and they planted Keith Lee with a spine buster. Powerhouse Hobbs laid out Keith Lee. There's his first big match, singles match, and his feud coming up. It'll be Keith Lee and Powerhouse Hobbs. I'd love to see that match.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what a huge first feud for Limitless Keith Lee with AEW. I mean, I know he, had his huge debut and then the match in the pay-per-view, but for this to be the first feud, I mean, they're pretty much the same size. Am I wrong? Like
they're big boys. I think Keith is a little bigger though.
Okay,
might be taller.
But seeing him get put up and slammed, you don't see that often. So.
And then the lip snarl that Powerhouse Hobbs does, that half a snarl that he does. Oh my God, I love that look. It's like Keith. It's like I almost said Pete Dunne. His name is Butch. It's like Butch's, where he shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. Let's talk the main event. Shane Swerve Strickland, formerly known as Isaiah Swerve Scott, part of Hit Row, making his AEW debut against the premier athlete Tony Nese, formerly also of NXT's 205 Live. Tony Nese has really got, however, he has nothing special about him. This is second or maybe third time he's challenged a new debuting talent and lost. I think there's room for Tony Nese to be a bigger player in this game.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel when he was over in WWE or in NXT or, or 205 Live.
205, yeah.
Yeah, great look. Obviously a great physique, and is it maybe it's something?
He had that ring gear that cut out just his abs.
Yeah.
His abs are showing out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something unique too. I guess I don't know if maybe he just wasn't given enough mic time, or I was looking forward to this just because they do have history, as they were saying. We've got our history. Let's do something big, and great match. But I would like to see something more for Tony Nese, and I think there will be, because they feature him pretty consistently, at least as of late. Something between the two of them, let's maybe keep something going. But cool to see Swerve Strickland getting his debut.
Whose house?
At AEW. Swerve's house.
That's going to get over. I really like it. By the way, it's St. Patrick's Day Slam on Wednesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. So far, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in a steel cage. Scorpio Sky versus Mr. Mayhem Wardlow. Adam Cole and Red Dragon taking on Hangman Adam Page and Jurassic Express.
Yeah, should be a good one. And that cage match, I'm assuming, closing off the show.
It's got to. And I think that's, like I said, I think that's Thunder Rosa becoming the AEW Women's Champion.
Yeah.
By the way, Rampage next week, Friday, very late start with the NCAA tournament starting on Thursday. Full slate of games on Thursday and Friday, and they use all 4 Turner Broadcasting networks for the games, on the Thursday and Friday. So Rampage will start probably at about 11:30 Eastern at night, possibly midnight if it goes into an overtime game. But the moment that last game is off the air, then they will be putting Rampage on. So quite possibly 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, the same time as your late night shows, like, when Conan O'Brien was on air, or Jay Leno, or, David Letterman. When those shows are going on air, the Jimmy Fallons, that's when you'll be getting your Rampage. So big shows. Yep, big shows coming up this week. Linda, we got big stuff coming up all week as well. So I will talk to you tomorrow, right? We're going to talk a little Raw.
Yes, we will. On the road to WrestleMania.
The road to WrestleMania. We're just over 3 weeks away. Or is it 2 weeks away? I think we're under 3 weeks now. We've got 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania. Have you got your bags packed? Have you got your bags packed yet?
Meathead, I always try to pack at least the day before. True life, it's always the morning of. I don't know.
What time is your flight leaving? How can it be the morning of? When are you leaving?
Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m.
Oh.
I'll be all right.
Well,
I
I mean,
try to do it before. I'm just
I
saying
mean,
it always ends up being the morning
to
of.
be true, life some more. I mean, yeah, I know that you're around the airport. I will be in that area around the airport. So it's not like we're driving a half hour to get to the airport, you know.
Yes, yeah, I'm close.
The airport's dead center in Milwaukee County. So, I mean, we'll be around it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. For Linda K, the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.